Hello everyone, it's Matt and welcome to Collaboration Coach. In this video we're going to look at a new feature for PowerPoint on the web called live presentations. This allows you to present your slide deck to the audience and at the same time they can follow along with the content on their own device, which means that they can choose which language they see in the subtitles. They can zoom in and out of the content and go backwards and forwards through the slides, and they can also give you feedback using emojis. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon because we don't want you to miss anything. So in this video we're going to look at live presentations from 2 points of view. First of all, the presenter and then the audience. If you're a presenter, there's a few things you need to know. First of all, this is a feature for the browser, so it doesn't work on the desktop app and in any browser except Safari, so you can't present from Safari. Presenters are also going to need a Office 365 subscription to start the live presentation in the first place. As an audience member, you don't use the desktop app again, you use a browser, but thankfully any of the major browsers can be used, including Safari. And as an audience member, you don't need a Office 365 license. This all starts with the presenter starting up PowerPoint in the browser. And you can do that from the home page, or you can go to the app launcher and choose PowerPoint. And when you land on the PowerPoint homepage, you just open up the slide deck you want to present. I'm going to present this one, some financial data. And you go to the slideshow tab on the ribbon, and you'll see the present live button here. Now, before you present live, there's a couple of settings that you need to know about. If you just drop this arrow down here, you'll see you can choose an audience. There's two options. One of them is only people in your organization. If you choose this one, that means that people have to log in to be able to see your presentation. Anyone who doesn't have a login to your Office 365 tenant won't be allowed to see your slides. The second option is anyone, and this is basically an anonymous link to your slide presentation. If you've got the link, you can see the slides without having to log into Office 365. The third option here is the audio settings, and if I press on that, it brings up a pane on the right hand side and I can choose my audio settings. It will choose the default microphone, but I can switch that if I want to choose another one. And then you can also choose the spoken and the subtitle language. The spoken language is obviously the language the presenter is going to use and that their microphone is going to pick up. And then the subtitle language is the language that will appear beneath the slides when the presentation begins. I'm just going to keep these both as English, and as we go through it, I'll show you how the audience can change which subtitles they see from their own devices. Once the presenter's chosen the audience and the audio settings, all they need to do is hit the Present Live button. When they do that, it presents the deck in full screen. For this demo, I'm just going to bring it back to browser view, and you can see it's got a kind of splash screen telling you that the live presentation is about to start. And then if I click on, the next page gives the audience a QR code that they can scan with their phone or tablet. And if they can't use the QR code, there's a link in the top right hand corner there, and they can just type that into the browser window. So let's have a look at what that looks like from the audience's point of view. I'm going to use an iPad here. I'm just going to scan that QR code, and you can see it prompts me to open it in the browser. So just hit the browser link. Switching to the browser on the iPad, now you can see the presentation loading up. And before the slides are even showing, it's already transcribing what the presenter is saying down here on the right hand side. Switching back to the presenter view, you can see that one person has joined, and that's me. Obviously that would tick up as lots of people join the presentation. As the presenter, when I'm ready to start, I can just click on the deck and it will start to show my slides to the audience. Switching back to the audience now, you can see they see my deck and they see the transcript of what I say as I'm saying it. But on the audience's view, there's a couple of useful things we can do. First of all is the transcript itself. You can see I've got an English transcript running here, but I can press on the English transcript there, and I can choose from 60 different languages here. If I was to change that to Hindi, it would then re-present all the transcripts so far in Hindi. And if I don't need a transcript, I can always switch it off. I can't vouch to the accuracy of the transcription there, so any of you guys who are native Hindi speakers, let us know if that makes sense to you or not. The next thing we have down here is reactions. I can hit the reactions toolbar here, and then I can send reactions to the presenter so they can see in real time how people are liking what they're saying. Also, as an audience member, I can zoom in and out of the deck, although it snaps back to its normal view when I let go, so it doesn't hold the zoom. And I can also move backwards and forwards through the slides themselves. And if I get lost, I can press the current slide button, and that will take me back to the current slide that the presenter's on. Switching back to the presenter view, they also have a toolbar they can use to switch the microphone off. So if they want to stop the translation, it will stop there. They can move backwards and forwards through the slides. They can see all the slides. If they want to jump back to a slide, perhaps as part of a question and answer session, they can do that. And then they can also write on the slides as well. So if you want to highlight certain areas of the slide deck, that's also possible. And you can turn the subtitles on or off from here too. And we have a live presentation button, which shows you how many people have joined, copies a link to the presentation, can get you back to the welcome screen with the QR code on it again, or you can end the session. And that completes the PowerPoint session for the presenter and attendees. Once the presenter has ended the session, all the audience members will receive a feedback form with a star rating, and they can choose between 1 and 5 stars to show how well they thought the presentation went. Once the audience has submitted a star rating, they can then go on and rate the design, the speaker, the content and the interaction, and leave any other comments. So once all the feedback has been submitted, the presenter will receive an email with information about the feedback. If I switch to Outlook now, you can see I've got an email from PowerPoint Live, and I can see the audience feedback in the body of that email. And at the top here, I get a presentation score, so an overall score based on all the people that submitted feedback. Then the other 4 questions on slide design, speaker, content and interaction, so I can see how well I did across each of those 4 topics. And then right down the bottom, I've got some areas where I can improve. So because I got a low slide design score, it's suggesting that I check out the design ideas to make my slides look a bit better. And then finally at the bottom, we've got some comments. So the comments that were made by each of the submissions. The presenter can also go to Microsoft Forms to see the feedback data in more detail. If you go to the app launcher and Forms, you'll see a form added to your collection with the title and the date and time that the slide presentation was delivered. So if I click on this, you'll see I've got 4 responses, and it sort of sums up what the feedback was, just as it does in the email. But I can also go to the View Results button and actually page through each of the 4 submissions and see how each person rated me and what their feedback was. And obviously, because it's forms, I can open this data in Excel and download it, take it offline, do whatever I want with it in Excel as well. So there you go, that's your first look at live presentations in PowerPoint for the web. I hope this video was useful. Please let me know if you're using it and if it's working for you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.